y'all, I'm Noli, this is Mojo Homestead, and today I want to talk about how to deworm your chickens. So most importantly, because if we have chickens and we're watching this video, they're probably our pets and we love them. And so I want you all to know that your chickens getting worms is not a reflection of you as a pet owner. And yes, the worms can get into the eggs, but it has to be a really terrible worm infestation. And I've never actually seen it happen in my chickens yet, although that is a fear that I have. And I'm not talking about like when you crack open an egg, they always have the little chalets, y'all can correct me, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but the thing that connects the egg to the side of the shell, that's not a worm, that's supposed to be there. It should be in every egg that you crack open. So your chickens having worms is no reflection of you as a chicken owner. The only time my chickens have ever had a worm problem was when they were free range. And my guess is they picked it up from wild birds or they picked it up from eating dog poop. Like, who knows? They're chickens and they chicken scratch all over the ground, and who knows the things that they eat. My camera's being held up by a waterer right now, so the chickens keep bumping it, and that's why I'm moving. So it's just life. The most common types of worms that you'll probably find in chickens are going to be roundworms and tapeworms. And roundworms are the ones that sort of look like really thin pieces of spaghetti. And tapeworms usually come off in little segments and they look like little pieces of rice. And usually you'll see the worms in their poop. And probably the best way to check is to check where they, underneath where they roost at night, you know, because they're going to poop all night long. And then you can go in first thing in the morning and kind of take a look at their poop and check for worms. Okay, so the wormer that I use most often, which again is only when I know that I have a worm problem, is Safeguard Dewormer for goats. It's an oral suspension. Oh, it's for goats and sheep. Obviously I've had this one for a while. I always have it on hand because, like I said, it's what I use to treat my goats and my chickens when necessary. And Safeguard treats roundworms, hookworms, cecal worms, and gapeworms. So the thing that I've heard about Safeguard is that it can have negative effects on their feathers. And I think that it's mostly while they're molting. I think that it can cause like stunted growth and just deformities in the feathers. I've never seen it happen, but that probably is something to know, and it is probably unadvisable to use Safeguard while your chickens are molting. So to dose the Safeguard, I use these little syringes. I always have these on hand too. And the dosage is 3 cc's, it's hard to see, which are also milliliters. One of these is equal to 1 cc and 1 milliliter. But you use 3 cc's per 1 gallon of water. And so you just mix 3 cc's of the Safeguard in with the water and mix it up. You make it fresh daily, and you want to give that to your chickens as their only source of water for 5 days. The other way that you can do it is you can do up to 1 cc on like a piece of bread. Now this would be if you maybe had a couple chickens. Because here's the other thing, if you have one chicken with worms, you gotta bet that they all have worms because they're all scratching around on the ground and all eating each other's poop basically. Even if you put my feeders are up off the ground. You know what I mean? So it's not like they have to eat off the ground, they just like to, you know, they scratch around. So if you have one chicken with worms, you got to treat them all. So the easiest way to do it another over-the-counter medication that you can use to treat worms is Valbazen. It's a little bit more expensive than the Safeguard, and I would actually venture to say that it's a stronger product. And it also kills a wider variety of worms, which I don't even know all of off the top of my head. So I'll just post that in the comments. Valbazen, you use the same type of syringe to measure it out. A 1/4 cc for small birds and a 1/2 cc for larger birds. You're going to see worms coming out for at least a couple days because they're going to be dying off, and that's good. You know, as long as they're like not moving and you see them coming out after you deworm, that's good. That's what you want. Chicken. Chick. So it's worth noting that I'm obviously not a veterinarian. Good luck finding one near you though. If you can, let me know. I'm just somebody who has chickens, a lot of chickens, like over 100 chickens. And I've had to find ways to treat them, you know, because I don't have a chicken vet and because things do happen that need to be treated, worms being one of the most common. So I'm just somebody who has my own chickens, who has tried these methods and found that they worked. And I think in this community, you know, backyard farmers or whatever, that we need to share with each other what works. But then it's your responsibility to take the information that you hear, whether it be from me or your own research on the interwebs, and make an informed decision for your animals. You know, so I'm not a veterinarian. Take this information, do some more research, and then make a decision on how you want to treat your animals, or if you want to treat your animals. You know, because like I said, for me, I try to treat as little as possible. You know, I hate to say survival of the fittest, but I found that my animals in general stay healthier, you know, if I let nature do its thing. You know, and I've been really lucky that with 17 goats and I lost count of how many chickens, 100-ish, you know, we really don't deal with much sickness around here. But we have pretty good animal husbandry practices, you know, like these are a couple of our chicken pens. So everybody has a good amount of room, the food's up off the ground, it's not real dirty. And like I said, the only time I've ever had to deal with worms in my chickens was when they were free range. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you ever have any questions or you ever need to talk through and problem solve something that's happening, you know, with your animals, you can always email me or find me on any social media, mojohomesteadfl. That's where we are on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm always happy to talk things through. All right, y'all. Well, I hope that you learned something today that helps you become more self-sufficient. See you next time.